At the end of last class, my group was sort of stuck on this question of can you develop an identity apart from other people? The narrator has a problem with this where he just accepts what other people tell him. So the white men in his hometown who tell him to stay down and be humble, or in college where he accepts the founder's path, he really buys into it. He genuinely believes in it. And then what Mr. Norton says about him, he doesn't think there's anything wrong with that until the vet calls him out. And then Dr. Bledsoe, he just buys Dr. Bledsoe's perfect image. And when Dr. Bledsoe betrays him, rather than letting that betrayal teach him something or wonder what that says about him, the narrator himself, the narrator just is angry rather than wondering, why am I the kind of person who thinks this is wrong? Do I want power? He doesn't really consider what his own personal response to this is. And then he goes to New York, and there's this incident where he gets angry because someone stereotypes him. This waiter says, "You look like you'd like pork chops. You're a black man from the South. Clearly you'd like pork chops." That's what he's hearing. And he gets mad because he doesn't want to be stereotyped. But at the same time, he fails to notice that when the Brotherhood does it, essentially. The Brotherhood gives him a new name. Maybe it's because they're erasing his history rather than calling it up. But still, the Brotherhood tells him what to be, who he is, and he doesn't start to push back against that until he's reassigned back to Harlem and is being left out of meetings. And when Brother Clifton dies, still, he doesn't really start to filter out what he thinks about himself and what he wants until he's alone in the dark in his hole, away from other people in the prologue, and I guess at the end of the book. And that's when he really starts to solidify what he wants, who he is, what kind of person he is. And he needs to be alone for that. And I don't know if that means that you have to be alone to develop your own identity, because it doesn't. Humans are made like the way that we're raised, the sort of social nature of the things we believe. I don't think it's really possible to develop an identity without other people, but to know who you are apart from other people, I think you have to be alone for that. Maybe not seriously alone, like in the dark, brooding, but at least being able to say in your own head, question whether when someone says something about you, whether it's true or not. And that's what the narrator has to learn how to do to grow up.